Greetings loyal subscribers and honoured guests. Here we are once again to look at another mega tape from the original classic run of Zap magazine. This issue is the first one where the magazine changed hands from its creator, Newsfield Publishing, over to Europress Impact. We still have a few issues of the magazine left to go under the Zap name before it changes to Commodore Force, and for many, things were never the same again, although Force did garner some fans of its own over its lifespan. I'll be looking at those tapes from next year, but for now I have 4 episodes left this year, including the one you're watching. The magazine included a roundup of various American sports games that had been released over the lifespan of the computer, as well as all the usual full-priced and budget game reviews. Now though, let's get stuck into the contents of the tape. There are some quite interesting games on this particular tape that are a bit different from your standard shoot-em-ups and other genres we've seen time and time again. First up is the detective game, which is your classic murder mystery story in the style of an Agatha Christie tale, Cluedo, or nowadays the Knives Out franchise. You take control of the titular detective who has been sent to a mansion in the British countryside to investigate the killing of McFungus. You do this by roaming the halls, snooping about, questioning the other guests, and ultimately accusing one of them once you've gathered sufficient proof that they are the guilty party. This all sounds like a really cool idea for a game, but a few things make it a bit frustrating to actually play, sadly. Time is constantly moving onwards, and at certain times during the day, more murders will occur. I found talking to other guests very fiddly to do, because it takes time to bring up the icon-based menu and select the correct one, and often by the time you have done so, the person you were trying to talk to has wandered off into a different room. I do much prefer this sort of point-and-click adventure to a purely text-based one though. The Zap team found the detective to be a bit on the slow side, giving an overall score of 78%, and concluding with a novel approach to the whodunit theme, which remains entertaining even though more legwork is required than brain work. Game number 2 is also a very interesting idea that is very tricky to get accustomed to. Pi R Squared is an action puzzle game, i.e. not really one where you use your brain too much, but more your reactions as you try to navigate the stages and avoid bumping into enemies. Each level takes place across a series of cogs that are moving in different directions, and some of them have icons in the middle. If you go round an icon fully, then you collect whatever is inside, and the goal is to gather all the parts of a formulae, which is represented by the pi symbol, an R symbol, and the squared symbol. Other objects such as books restore some of your health, or rather IQ, or allow you to destroy enemies in the case of the hammer. Touching said enemies drains your health, which results in the lack of a life if your IQ bar is fully drained. Pi R Squared doesn't include conventional joystick controls. Instead you have to use the O and P keys to go forward and backwards on a cog, and the space bar to switch onto a different cog. This was the trickiest part for me, and I was always accidentally going the wrong way on a cog and getting myself killed. I do still think this is an extremely novel idea for a game though, regardless of the high difficulty. The Zap reviewers were all quite impressed with Pi R Squared, awarding a decent score of 84% overall, with the summary of a novel puzzle game which provides plenty of entertainment. Our next game is a dreaded text adventure, and this one was actually designed by a Zap 64 reader using the graphic adventure creator, which is a pretty impressive feat in itself. Right after starting the game I encountered one of the things that always pisses me off about this type of game though. You are told that there is a can of soda on the desk which you obviously are meant to pick up, but the game doesn't understand pick up soda, you must use the word can specifically. Once I was past this and into the game proper, I was having a fair amount of fun for a while, until I hit the inevitable dead end and didn't know what to do next. You get sucked into a fictional version of LA inside your computer, which is an interesting idea. LA Adventure isn't a purely text-based game, as certain scenes do contain graphics as well, and they are quite nicely drawn. The parser seems a bit slow, but I am guessing this is part of how the creation kit itself functions, instead of something unique to this game. The game is split into 2 parts, so you can expect to hear me struggle and moan about part 2 in the next episode. final game is called Battle Bars, and it is a 1 or 2 player Squash Pong type game with some neat graphics and nice music that was created especially for this tape. Sadly though, there is a bug, which means the timer is stuck and the game never ends. This is something to do with the use of Novaload apparently, and can be fixed if you freeze the game using an action replay cartridge and then return to the action. I am capturing this on my C64 Maxi though, so I'm not able to do that, I'm afraid. Even so, the idea of Squash Pong was a bit played out even by the time this was released, and not very exciting really. So that wraps up another episode. For me, Pi R Squared was the most interesting game. I just wish I wasn't so bad at it. I think it's just a matter of getting used to the controls though. The detective is also a very cool idea, and I do like how the events unfold in real time with more and more guests dying the longer you take to solve the crime, just like in a classic murder mystery or movie. The other 2 games don't really interest me all that much, to be honest with you. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then please consider leaving a like, subscribing to the channel, leaving a comment and sharing on social media. I'll be back in 2 weeks' time with the next episode. In the meantime, take care.